one point in my relationship with my husband Eric, he thought that the reason why that I wouldn't do certain things was because I would conveniently forget them, just to piss him off.
Hey babe, did you remember to call the electrician?
Shit! This was far from the case. The reality was that I actually had wicked brain fog. But I could easily forget what I was doing when I was doing it. I figured that at this rate, senility would end up being a pretty smooth transition for me. Initially, I thought that I struggled so much because I had so much on the go, so maybe I just didn't have enough mental capacity. I'd attribute my brain to being like my browser, having a gazillion tabs open, 5 of them are frozen, and then suddenly having music playing but having no idea where it's coming from. It wasn't until later that I discovered the reason why I had brain fog was because I have Hashimoto's, an autoimmune thyroid condition which affects 97% of individuals with hypothyroidism. I mean, finally I had a label to hang my hat on that could explain why I had been struggling so much, and that it wasn't all in my head, and that I wasn't, well, losing it. This is precisely the reason why that I decided to produce an episode here on SFT TV about brain fog and autoimmunity for all you foggy ladies out there. Because my brain fog has gotten so much better. Want to find out what I did? Well, mama, you're just gonna have to watch this video and stay until the end. Are you ready? If so, let's do this. It's Melissa Ramos, nutritionist with a background in Chinese medicine, delivering you the straight goods about all things hormones and autoimmune conditions in a classy, sassy, and a bit of a smartassy kind of way. Now, before we dive in, I just want to be able to remind you to subscribe to this channel and make sure to hit that little bell button. That way you get notified every single time a new episode drops every Wednesday. And hey, listen, if you feel like skipping ahead, no worries. Feel free to grab all the tools that I have provided about brain fog and so much more in my free autoimmune guide, which you can grab right now by clicking the link in the comments. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive in. Here's a crazy fact. More than 70% of individuals with autoimmune diseases report mental fatigue or brain fog. It's the primary reason in work disability with people with autoimmune disorders. And it has been collectively named the most difficult disease symptom to cope with. People with certain autoimmune diseases like lupus, Hashimoto's, endometriosis, or PCOS, which yes, are also autoimmune conditions, are at a higher risk of suffering from brain fog. When the body attacks healthy cells like it does with someone with an autoimmune condition, it does so by triggering an inflammatory response. Higher levels of inflammation in the body equals lower cognitive function, which ta-da, means a higher chance of developing brain fog. And I want to be clear that brain fog is used to describe a collection of cognitive conditions, including memory problems. Sorry, what's your name again?
It's Eric, your husband. You said I do. I have video footage of this.
And it also includes a lack of mental clarity.
I wouldn't believe it either, probably.
And the inability to focus. Okay, it's time to get shit done. Oh, what a cute puppy. Oh my God, I can't believe she posted that. Are you ready? If so, let's do this. I love this girl. Okay, so let's dive into the causative factors behind brain fog and most importantly, what you can do about it. All right, but first let's cover some basics and talk about some cheap and cheerful fixes which you can do. Starting with poor blood sugar management. When I asked people over on my Instagram if they knew what I meant by blood sugar management, the majority of them had no idea. So let me explain. When you're sedentary, dehydrated, or eating a high-carb diet filled with processed and inflammatory foods, then chances are you're going to wrestle with feeling hangry. Now before you tell me, but I can't help it, I'm a carb addict. Let me be clear that the likelihood is that you don't have a food problem, you have a lifestyle problem. Sleep deprivation is a huge one, and it'll have you craving everything in your fridge. Everything. Listen, I get that thyroid hormones like T3 and T4 impact nearly every aspect of the brain. And a decrease of these hormones, like in the cases of Hashimoto's, will naturally impact brain function. But those lifestyle recommendations that I mentioned will impact those hormones. Another causative factor which contributes to inflammation, which affects thyroid hormones, is gut infections, which includes parasites, bacteria, viruses, or yeast. Psst. which is the reason why that in my free guide, I talk about how you can test and uncover those gut infections. You see, communication from the gut to the brain happens via the 10th cranial nerve called the vagus nerve. A growing amount of research is suggesting that vagus nerve regulation is an important part of chronic fatigue. Teaching your brain to regulate your vagus nerve properly may help to relieve fatigue, pain, brain fog, and other chronic fatigue symptoms. And while I will produce an upcoming video about the importance of vagal nerve stimulation for autoimmune conditions, here are a couple of exercises to strengthen your vagal tone. Because your vagus nerve is connected to your vocal cords, gargling and humming can help. Another major causative factor behind autoimmunity is the presence of biotoxins, specifically mold. Mycotoxins, which are the toxins produced from mold, can absolutely lead to severe brain fog, especially those who have the HLA-DR gene. The HLA-DR gene inhibits the immune system from recognizing mycotoxins as a threat, thus impeding it from producing antibodies that are needed for deactivating and removing mold toxins. This is pretty common in couples where one person gets sick as a dog from living in the moldy home, yet the other person who doesn't have the same gene is completely fine. You can take the very preliminary, cheap and cheerful VCS screening test on survivingmold.com, which can help to assess if mold is a part of your profile. Please note that while this test is a great starting point and is pretty accurate, it will not give you an answer of which mycotoxins are present. The last factor behind brain fog could very well be due to nutrient deficiencies. Please note, nutrient deficiencies like B1 and iron are usually due to gut infections. I actually spoke all about iron deficiency, so I urge you to check out this video, which I produced here on my YouTube channel. However, one that I want to mention to you is B1, also known as thiamine. There is a massive connection between thiamine deficiencies and gut issues and subsequent brain fog. In my free autoimmune guide, I have listed the thiamine dose per weight that you can refer to. Okay, you, that is it for now. I hope that you dug this video. If you did so, do me a favor, give this a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel, share it, tag a friend, and leave me a comment and let me know what you thought. Until next time, see ya!